Hello and welcome to the Share It with Ishani podcast, where I share stories of people from around the world to educate, empower, and inspire you all. And I'm Ishani Gupta, radio anchor and a public speaking coach. Here's a reminder, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I bring you one episode every Saturday of my podcast. And besides, my channel also shares public speaking tips.
Bullying is a very serious situation, not only within India, but around the world. Every other day, we really hear about how the children, to be precise, are being harassed. They are not only like brutally being harassed, or they are physically being harassed, mentally being harassed, and often they are beaten to death. They are killed in the process, and this is seriously a very serious issue. And in this particular episode, we are going to talk about this serious issue, and we are going to find out some solutions, or maybe talk about how to deal with this particular situation, because this scars a child for life. So for that, we have a very special guest on my show today. He is Nathan Webb. Please welcome Nathan Webb, who is a professional school counselor from Utah, the US. So hi Nathan, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on the show.
That's so great, and I'm really honored that you are today on my show, and we are going to talk about bullying and how to deal with it. Thanks a lot for being here so that we are able to raise awareness on this issue.
Absolutely.
All right. So first of all, I really want to know, Nathan, like how or what basically inspired you to become an advocate for children, to take up this issue of bullying?
Well, so ever since I was a young child, I was bullied when I was younger. Now, I wasn't beaten to death or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was at first it was just got made fun of because I had glasses. But then things kind of turned physical sometimes too, and as it got worse and worse, I was just trying to figure out how to find my place in this world. And I was able to get past it and to become better, not bitter. But then as I went through life, I realized there's a lot of kids who don't get past it, who aren't able to mentally get past what happened to them as a kid. And so I started to try and share some of the tools and mindsets that helped me with kids that I wish I would have known sooner, to help kids maybe get out of that spot sooner so that they can start progressing and leave the trauma and bullies behind.
Yeah. Your personal experience, I'm really sorry that it happened to you, but today the good work that you are doing, supporting the children, that is really amazing.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it sucked when it was happening, but it was hard, but I'm glad that it happened so that I can be able to help the kids the best that I can.
Yeah, that's really great. So I really want to know, and I want you to share with the viewers, that when a child is undergoing such kind of a situation, when this child is being a victim, is being bullied, what is going through this child's mind, and how is this child able to share? Whether I'm not sure, like what is the situation going on. Some kids might be able to share comfortably with others, with their parents, but some children might be so scared, so afraid of telling anybody about what he or she is going through. So what would you like to tell such kids or such parents?
Well, the first thing I would tell kids that are facing these issues, that are being bullied, it's not your fault. It's not because you are any less. It is because someone else is hurting and they're wanting you to hurt as well. Secondly, I would say the reason that the words of other people bother us so much is because we believe them, because we don't have a firm enough understanding of who we are. And so when someone says something bad about us, it threatens us. And because we think we are allowing someone else to define who we are. So first off, I would invite people to figure out who they are and try and get a firm understanding for who they are for themselves. Because once you know who you are for yourself, the words of other people do not change that. They can say what they want, but you'll know who you are for yourself.
Absolutely. I believe that this often happens because usually some children are on low self-esteem. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correct, but mainly the children with low self-esteem can face such situations, or maybe I don't know how to put it or frame it correctly. But low self-esteem can be the root cause of some children not being able to approach others for help, or not being able to overcome this situation. What do you say?
Oh yes, I definitely agree. The children have low self-esteem, and part of the reason that they have low self-esteem is because they are allowing something else to define who they are. They're allowing something else to tell them if they're good enough or not. Specifically social media in kids. They compare their bodies, they compare their cultures, their lifestyles to the images that they see online that they think is perfect, but it's not. It's fake. But they're using this to bring themselves down because they have this low self-esteem. And it goes two ways too, because the kids that get bullied, they have the low self-esteem, but also the kids that are bullies, they also have low self-esteem. That's why they're bullies, because they are insecure about themselves, because they don't have enough kindness in their lives. And so part of the big things that we can do to help eliminate bullying is to help fill their lives with kindness, because the bullies, they probably need more kindness than anybody else.
Wow, that was the aha moment for me. Like this is such a brilliant thing that you have said right now, that it is not only the children who are facing it, but also the bullies. They do have low self-esteem, and that is what is making them do what they're doing. And yeah, can you elaborate a little more on like how social media is playing a role on in aggravating this situation of bullying, both the bullies and the victims?
Oh, absolutely. So social media is a magnifying glass. It magnifies what is already there. It amplifies it. It makes it bigger. And with kids, there is so much insecurity because they're not sure who they are yet. They're trying to figure things out. And because of that, if they see something that threatens them online, they'll respond out of fear. And also, kids' brains are not fully developed. They have this thing called the prefrontal cortex that is in charge of all your decision making. And it's not fully developed until you're like 24, 25. And even then, you're not fully functioning with it until like later on in your 30s. So we're giving kids these supercomputers with social media and stuff and expecting them to make good decisions 100% of the time. That just does not happen. It's not realistic. And so people are wondering, why are these kids so bad to each other online? And I'm like, well, because you handed them this magnifying glass that amplifies all of their insecurities, and they see all these accounts that make them feel like crap. They see all these fake models on Instagram. They see these TikTokers with these unrealistic lifestyles, and they feel like they're not enough. And for some people, they're like, oh man, I feel so crappy. And then they see someone else who maybe might not look as pretty as them, or maybe not, like they think maybe they don't look better than them. And they're like, maybe I can pick on that person because it'll make me feel better, because I feel small right now because of how social media is making me feel. And so they bully other people to try and make themselves feel big, but it just continues a cycle of hatred. And then with the bully victims, again, it's just amplifying that insecurity, especially when you see, specifically for girls on Instagram, you see all these airbrushed bodies that are unrealistic, that causes girls to compare their body constantly and think negatively about themselves. I think more than often, what social media does for kids is it causes them to talk negatively about themselves and their thoughts. and that will reflect how they behave and interact with each other.
Yeah, very true. This is usually what happens with not only the kids, I would say, but also some of us, the adults as well. Like we feel insecure looking at some of the pictures online, and we
Oh
start
yeah.
with all the negative self-talk. So yeah, this is another new problem that social media has brought along with it. So now let us come to the solution of it. I would like you to tell more about what role can the families, the parents, the teachers play in dealing with the situation to comfort the children and so to avoid basically this particular situation of bullying.
Right. So bullying is going to happen no matter what. There's no way to get rid of it. But there is ways to make it so that the kids don't care. Because bullying only turns physical once it goes on for a long time. And it goes on for a long time because they get something out of it. They're getting a reaction. They're getting something out of it because they see that power imbalance. Because bullying, it is a power imbalance where someone appears to be stronger, someone appears to be weaker, and they're trying to assert dominance and control over repeated behavior. So when I talk to parents about what can we do to get rid of bullying, I'm like, well, the best way to get rid of the bully is to make the bully your best friend. Kill the saying, kill them with kindness.
Wow.
Now, how do we do that? Well, first, I have 3 steps called know, focus, serve. Know who you are. We talked about that earlier, so that you have a foundation for yourself, so that their hateful words don't matter. And once they see that their words are not caught doing any damage to you, they'll move on because you are not giving them what they want. Secondly, you need to focus. You need to focus on the things that you do have, not on the things that you don't have. A lot of people think that the grass is always greener on the other side. That's what causes comparison culture, because we're looking at Instagram or social media, all these different things, seeing what people have and what we don't have. When in reality, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And it depends on where you put your attention. And if you notice the things that you do have, it enables you to feel this thing called gratitude. And when you're grateful and feeling gratitude, your brain, it actually is physically impossible of feeling 2 separate emotions at the same time. It can't multitask. It can switch between 2, but you can only feel one at a time. And so when you are feeling gratitude and things like that, you can't feel insecure. You can't feel jealousy. You can't feel sadness. You can't feel depression because you are experiencing that positive emotion at that time. And so focusing on what you can control and on what you do have, it puts you in a good spot to where you can focus on yourself. You cannot control other people. You can't control other people's words. You can't control other people's actions. That also means you are not responsible for their words or their actions, so that people can take the weight of the world off their shoulders. So many people blame themselves for when they get bullied, for when they get, for when people make fun of them for this or that. They blame themselves and they think it's their fault when it's not. And so when they realize that they cannot control other people and they stop worrying about that, the weight of the world is lifted off their shoulders so that they can work on themselves to make them a better person, on their happiness. They don't care what the haters might say, what the trolls on the internet are doing. If you're having problems with cyber bullies, maybe get off the cyber. Get off social media. They're there on the internet. Real life is better. And then the last part is serve. Serve other people, especially the people that treat you with unkindness. Because the reason that they're unkind is because they don't have enough kindness in their life. And so find little ways to serve people. It could just be saying hi to someone in the hall. It could be bringing them a plate of treats or something. I don't know, but there's ample opportunity to serve other people if we just look for it, because all they need is a little bit of kindness in their life, and they can see, wow, I feel so good being kind that I don't want to be a bully, because that's not bringing me happiness. Kindness brings happiness.
Yes, absolutely. And I was wondering that you mentioned that you you talk to them that, no, you did not really mention this. Yes, I want to ask you that, do you help both the victims as well as the bullies?
Yeah. So especially as a school counselor, I see people in my office all the time, kids that are bullies, kids that have gotten bullied and they're in my office because they're sad, kids that get sent to my office by teachers because they were being mean in a class or something. And so I work with both sides of the spectrum, and both sides are hurting. Both sides are just needing someone to love them, just for very different reasons. The bully is needing someone to show them, be an example of kindness in their life, because an aspect of their life might be full of hurt. They might not have a great home life. They might be struggling with family relationships. There might be something going wrong which causes them to be mean to other people. And then the bully victim, they need love to know that this isn't their fault, that it's not because they're a bad person. It's because another person is hurting, and hurt people hurt people. Misery loves company. And so both people need love, just for different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is how you handle such situations whenever there is a complaint about a person getting bullied and a person bullying in your school. So you handle both the sides. So what exactly do you do? I mean, just a glimpse of it. Like, how do you handle such situations, if you can share?
Oh, for sure. So first and foremost, when something's happening like this, we want to make sure there's always going to be parent involvement. We need to let an adult know. We need to let parents know what's going on. Of course. Secondly, though, if the bully victim comes to me and says, so-and-so is bullying me, this or that, first off, I start trying to build them up, trying to establish that foundation so they can know who they are, so we can kind of realize, all right, let's look at this logically. None of the things this person is saying is true. They are struggling. What's happening right now is because of them, not because of you. So try to establish that first, to try to help them see that they're enough, they're fine. It's the bully's problem, not their problem. And that if it continues to happen, then they need to let us know so that we can talk to the kid who's being a bully. And then when that person gets in trouble and is sent to my office, I just ask, so why? Like, what's going on? What's causing you to act out in this way? And then I shut up and listen, because there's something going on, whether it be they're annoyed with the way someone's acting, whether it be someone hurt their feelings. In that moment, they need to be heard. They need to be validated. And then once we hear what's going on, like, all right, I understand that you're hurting, that you're emotionally hurting for this reason. What are some better ways that we can cope with it that does not involve bullying someone else? And so we give them better coping strategies depending on what might be going on in their life, so that they can progress, so that they can enable themselves to feel happiness and not bring other people down.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Thanks a lot for sharing all the insights about it. It was really a great episode. We got to learn a lot about what psychology goes behind both the bully as well as the victim, and the ways of coping up with this, not only for the children, but also for the parents, the elders, who need to, handle this situation, who need to intervene into such situations. So thank you so much, Nathan. You have shared such a great insight. And yes, this was also great for raising awareness on this particular topic, in this particular issue, which is plaguing not only India, but entire world, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. If you guys want to follow me or learn more about my mission to eliminate bullies, to get kids over bullies and off social media, you can see me on Instagram, bulliesbe.gone, and I have a website as well. But yeah, I love for you guys to tag along with my journey, and maybe we can all help the world be a little bit more kind.
Definitely. And in order to contact Nathan, you can check the description box below. We have all his contact details as well as other details if you want to really get in touch with him. So thanks a lot, Nathan. Thanks a lot. So that's all for today. Signing off from Share It with Ishani. Bye-bye.